Okay, welcome back everyone. This Module 2 fact sheet will provide you with background information on critical thinking and organizing, also known as the pre-writing concept. So let's go ahead and get right into the specific details. An overview. Uh, in this module, we are going to be talking about the concept of critical thinking. Now again, critical thinking is somewhat different from what we do on a normal basis. As you can see, subjective thought is the thought that we do probably 90% of the time. It's that which we do not spend a lot of time thinking about. It's, I'm hungry, I'll eat what I want to eat, so on and so on. Critical thinking, on the other hand, requires time, requires effort, requires background, and is something that frankly is very difficult to do initially, and as you become more adept at it, you will do much better. But for business, many of the decisions, correspondences, whatever that we will do, will require critical thinking to ensure that the message that we want to send to the receiver is accurate. We'll talk about the need of critical thinking. Again, I pretty much gave you an idea, but there are other ideas, other concepts that we need to consider. Once we get all of these great critical thoughts, we need to organize them into meaning. Now, if you recall my wonderful artwork with the stickman on the board when I wrote or described or diagrammed the communication process, the sender of the message, before actually getting into the functioning of sending and encoding the message, has to think about and has to organize these thoughts. Now, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about here, the thinking about is, for example, an artist with a blank slate. What they do, unless you're into impressionable type of artwork, they think about what it is that they want the image to look like or say. So they think about a number of things. They think about, a landscape. They think about, a sky scene, maybe a field scene. And at the same time, they're bouncing around with colors. Maybe yellow for a bright sun, some white clouds, green grass, brown hay, maybe animals, a cow, maybe brown cows, black and white cows. But all these things are mumbo jumbo. That's the thinking. But before they actually take a brush to the pad, what they have to do is organize it and figure out, how is this going to look? What do I do first? How do I present it first? So that's what we're talking about with the organization. Now, for our purposes, there are a couple of ways we can do. We could do graphic organizing, which is basically drawing out the thoughts that we have about a message. Then for a writing component, we convert that drawing into an outline, which I'm sure we all have done at one time or another. Okay, let's talk about our readings and viewings for Module 2. First of all, Module 2, we're separating into two separate postings, two separate areas of study. The first is critical thinking. Now, as I mentioned earlier, critical thinking is probably one of the most difficult, yes, most important part of effective communication. So we have starting it. You can see on the date there, Friday, September 9, 2022. The information is available in Blackboard and the YouTube channel. And then the pre-discussion quiz and all the readings and whatnot for this section will be due Monday, September 12, 2022 by 11:59 p.m. The second part of this module, organizing, once you get these critical thoughts together, you're going to organize them, put them into some kind of meaning. That will start on Friday, September 16, 2022. The information will be available in the Module 2 Blackboard folder, as well as in playlist 3 of the YouTube channel. And then obviously the pre-discussion quizzes and readings, all that stuff. And then all that will be due by Monday, September 19, 2022. And again, it's not in here, but it is due by 11:59 p.m. Next, finally, after we get all through this module, we will have the review. I will have a review video for you, which is going to combine these two. Since while they're independent, they are also mutually exclusive. They need to be with each other. So the video will be available on Monday, September 26, 2022. More on that when the time comes. Okay, let's move on now. Let's talk about the assignments for this module. The pre-discussion quizzes. Well, I've already mentioned those briefly, but again, the critical thinking pre-discussion quiz began or is available September 9, 2022, due Monday, September 20th, or excuse me, 12th, 2022 by 11:59 p.m. And then the organizing portion of this module, the quiz will be pre-discussion quiz will be available the 16th of September and due, in this case, we're going to have it due a little earlier, Sunday, September 18, 2022 by 11:59 p.m. Now there will be team activities. Now, you probably have already seen, if not, you need to see my video on the team meteor strike activity. If you've seen it, you will note that I really didn't discuss much about the assignment, as more about the process, because that's what that assignment was all about. It was about process. It was not necessarily about the end results. If you think about it, if there's only like a half a dozen people, humans left, can they repopulate the planet? Chances are slim and none. But so that's not the important. The important thing was the interactions and communication among team members and the involvement of all team members. So the team assignment, or assignments, I should say, will be related to critical thinking and organizing. And again, I think it is vitally important that all of you participate with your team. Now, generally, one of your team members is going to jump out there and get the ball rolling, and that's perfect. It is really important in many respects that all of you then participate to your fullest. Um, that's how you succeed. Anyway, so these will begin September 13th, and there'll be one due on the 15th, and there'll be another one the following week, but more on that will come. Next, I have the peer review number one. Well, and what we didn't do in the Team Meteor Strike is have a peer review. Now, I mentioned this, I think, probably in the syllabus video or some other point in time. I think it's important that each of you evaluates the participation and involvement, contribution, whatever you want to call it, of each of your team members. Okay, you're a team of what, a half a dozen people, but you really have to work as one. You're all bringing to the group some special skills, knowledge, traits. And if you don't contribute, it really affects the end result of your team. Now, in the business world, uh, as I mentioned before, and I'm going to mention several more times, you will be working in teams. Like it or not, you will be in teams. If you think you're a lone wolf, don't go into business. I would suggest you go write the great American novels, sit in Massachusetts looking at the ocean and type all day. Even novelists collaborate. But so you must be able to work in teams. All right. So there will be a team review. And in this team review, you will evaluate the participation based on your experience with the activity, their participation of each of your team members. Now, there will be a scale, there will be a form, more on this will come. You'll need to be honest, you'll need to be as accurate as you can. Everything that you post will be between you and me. I've never shared, never will share how you rate another team member, nor will I, ever divulge that information. You will receive in your grade book a peer review number one grade or points earned. And this is based solely on your team.
Teams do this in the corporate world. It's part of your corporate evaluations. So get used to it. Anyway, so there'll be one probably around the 16th and due, well, can't really be due the same day, but, oh, it is actually, I'm sorry, because I don't want you to really think about it. So it'll be available the 16th, 12:01 a.m., and it will be due by the end of that day. Again, I will give you plenty of heads up on that. There will be a team graphic organizer and outlining activity. Okay. Not going to tell you more about it at this point in time. It's after you've done the critical thinking, you're going to be doing some kind of an organizing activity. You will have an individual graphic organizing and outlining exercise. Okay. Now, again, this is going to relate, just so I want to make sure that you all are on the same page with what it takes to really be a critical thinker and organizing the activities. At this point in time, we're not going to really start writing per se. You will be actually making notes, outlining, but at this point in time, we're not going to really start the function of writing the memos, letters, reports, because if you don't know what to put on the paper, putting it in the platform, the format, will be useless. So that's why we're going to do that. And then finally, the module two and the module two quiz. You can see the dates there. Again, more on that to come.
Okay, that pretty much ends the introduction fact sheet for the Module 2. As always, if you have questions, shoot me an email. Thanks. Have a good day.